So if I start again with Spark, all right, for this, I'm just going to change the colour. Black doesn't show this effect particularly well because if you've got black and you try and give it a shadow, it can't go anywhere because it's already black. If you try and give it a highlight, you'll see it a little bit, but not as much as if it was a different colour. So I'm just going to give this a fill, and then I'm going to go to Effects, 3D and Materials, and I've got Extrude and Bevel. It has a big thing. There we go. So you've got a bunch of options, and already it's showing me what it's trying to do. All right. I can change it back to this first option, plane. So rather than extruding it, it's still moving it in 3D space, but it's just a flat thing. So it's twisted it a little bit. And you can drag this around and freestyle it, or you can set particular numbers. The next one, Extrude, did what I said it did, and you've got this control of depth, so you can have super long spark or just kind of shallow hints of 3D-ness. But as I said, you can see now there's a shadow, that darker edge, there's highlights, there's the lighter surfaces. That's why I've chosen to give it a colour. This, all right, just turns that face off. This, it calls it cap. It kind of makes it very difficult to read on these letters, so I'm going to leave it on. This twist and taper is interesting. Play around with it, but if I show you, and if I just keep going and going with it, it will do that. So that's twist, and it will literally twist, twist, twist. I'm just going to give it a bit of depth, a bit more depth actually. And I'm going to do a taper, so it gives it even more of a 3D look, as if it's really coming out of the screen, the page at you. Alright, so that's twist, gives it a twist, taper, makes it taper away, get smaller. There's other options. You can see bevel. Do I turn that on? It looks like that. Is it getting too much, too many effects? I think so. We don't want it too fussy, too complicated, too busy. So I'm going to turn that off, but you can absolutely look at it, experiment with the settings, see what it does. File that away in your head. Might be great for another time, but is it suitable now? So that was, if I start again, so I'm just going to bin that effect. I should show you what I've just done there, shouldn't I? So I've got some text, effect, 3D and materials, and I'm going to extrude and bevel. Over here in properties, it's still showing you, isn't it? Yeah. It's got that effect. So if I do something and I give it this crazy twist, and I give it this, and I do this, and I do this, and so I've done a load of stuff. Ooh, all right. So I've done a thing, and then maybe I've closed the window and I've got it, and right. So what I need to alter that. The way to do it is, here's the effect that you've applied. I can click on it and it brings this back up with all those settings that I can then tweak if I wanted it perhaps a bit less of a taper, perhaps a bit less of a twist, perhaps a bit less of a extrusion, perhaps zero twist, perhaps all the taper. None of the taper, no, all of the taper, sorry. All right, go into a little point. Oh, I'm getting ideas. Maybe that's where the spark is, and this has come out of it, as if it's some experiment in the Large Hadron Collider. So that's something. You can play around with that 3D and materials. So you've got the object itself. I'm going to turn some of these things off because it's just getting a bit extreme. And let's turn this down a little bit. Inflate. It should make it look like it's a little puffed up set of letters. You might have seen this. I've seen it, well, not for a while now. It was all over Instagram last year and the year before-ish, because this was quite a new feature in Illustrator. So everyone was like, oh, this is the best thing ever. I'm going to use this on everything. So it was all over the place. Once you've done that, it looks okay, but once you've got your thing, you can then do this render. And what it should do oh, is quality. Let's go high. Render. It should. Well, we're going to see what happens. Listen for the. Oh no, they don't have fans, do they? It's trying. It's doing it. It's doing well. It's doing all right. Look at this.
Trying to see some ray tracing.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's got anxiety. Everyone's watching it. There we go. So it does on this screen, kind of there. It gives you an even better version of it. So if I zoom in, you can see this lovely effect going on now, as if it really is a plastic balloon set of letters, or at least on that front edge. But you can change things within that menu.
Inflate the other side as well.
Yeah, within that menu, if I select that again and go back to my 3D and materials, you can change the other part of it. It's not just the 3D effects, it's materials. So I can click on materials, and this really will stress the Mac out. You can pick other materials, stylized concrete. It's trying, it's having a go. It's going to do it. I've got faith. It's going to do it. But that's because I left that box ticked. So every time I change something, it's trying to re-render it. So I'm going to untick that in a moment. So it just gives us a bit of a rougher preview. But I thought I'll show you. So if I click off, and we get that look. Is that nice? Again, possibly not for this magazine, but it's there in your head. This is something I can do. Maybe I'll use that the next time I need some concrete lettering or lettering that looks like metal or yeah. It's got a different. Well, it's the screen that's doing it as well. It's got a bit more, but I can see like the rubbery look as well to it, as if it's got the tread pattern as well. Yeah.
You can make your own patterns, like you make your own materials and substance, can't you?
Yeah, that as well. So if you really want to go to town, you can do custom textures that you can import into Illustrator and apply to your stuff. It doesn't have to be letters. It could be letters. It could be other shapes and things that you wrap. So there's some more effects that you can do. 3D possibly. Materials, not quite as sure, but all the extra things as well, like the
a graphic one, which is more like a flat pattern, like eternity. If you look on the top
hang on,
of the
it's not
materials is.
There. I'm just trying to turn this off. There. If what? Sorry.
There's the graphics one as well, which is more.
Yeah, so you can wrap your objects in stuff. Oh, I thought I selected. Oh, there we go. There was a little delay.
Do more with this
but yeah, you can apply your stuff to patterns and designs to other surfaces. When it does it. Oh, just kind of plonked it on. I thought it was going to wrap the whole thing. Yeah, so I can move that around and I can scale this up. Oh, it's really stressing it out now. So, there's some stuff. So, play around with that, and then we'll see. I'll show you, we've got plenty of time, I'll show you something that might give you this kind of abstract, swirly, colourful background that you can achieve super quick and easy. Alright? So, play around with the 3D stuff if you want to. Play around with the... I'm just going to delete that as an object, it's struggling. And then